Good morning and welcome to our first interview with Roger and Helen this morning to talk a bit about Foster Denovo, its history and its future.
Good morning, Matt.
Good morning. Good morning, Helen.
Hiya.
When Foster Denovo was created in 2005, could you imagine back then the journey this business would go on? And can you tell us a bit about the progress we've made and why you're so proud of our culture here?
Gosh, big question. Yeah, it's been a very exciting journey, the last 17 years, and the business has progressed enormously. Probably when we started, we were quite fragmented, a lot of people doing their own thing. What we are today is a single branded proposition that is extremely client-centric. And as I say, it's been a very exciting journey. Our culture is really important to us, very people-centric. We focus on client first and foremost. Everything that we do is focused around client and client service. But we also focus on our people, our staff development, and we focus on supporting our partners to make sure that they can grow. So, culture is critical.
Thank you. I mean, culture, you talked a lot about people. Helen, you've been here 10 years. You've been overseeing the people and the protocols as part of our business and obviously your role as COO. How do you feel about our progress and the corporate history and where we're going?
Yeah, I mean, I'd echo, Roger's observation that we were a little bit fragmented. Going back in the day, we had people using different systems and, people were in similar roles but called different things, and there was probably no recognition that people were doing similar things in different parts of the organisation. Whereas now we're using the same systems, the same processes, and people can connect with others across the business, whether they're in second sight looking after corporate clients and members of corporate schemes, for example, or in private client or private wealth looking after individuals. They can connect with people that are doing a similar job across the organisation. And so what that's meant is a much stronger career path for people, because there's so much broader opportunity than there was when there were lots of smaller businesses. Now there's one larger business that can connect.
It's been a long journey, but we've really focused on investing heavily in our infrastructure. So it is people focused, but our infrastructure is vital to support that. So whether it's technology stack to make sure that we are fully integrated in the way we deliver our services to clients, whether it's our central support function that enables our partners to accelerate their growth. All of these things are things that we have been determined to deliver. So it is a dynamic and innovative culture. And it's something that has made us market leading in terms of our proposition. And, we're determined as we go forward to stay at the cutting edge.
Fantastic. I mean, we've had some quite exciting news as a business in the recent last few months. Can you talk a bit about how that's going to impact the vision for Foster Denovo over the next 5 years?
Yeah, so we've been working really hard to build a business that has the credibility to be able to take on investment. And when you've been on the journey we've been on, when you have the substance that we've now delivered, both in terms of our people, the quality and capability, the infrastructure, the propositions, a natural next step was for us to accelerate our growth. So we went to market and we were delighted to come across Crestline, who have offered us up to 100 million of investment. Wow. And we're going to use this to invest in everything across the business, invest in our growth, but in particular invest in our people. So our clients, our staff and our partners. So for those reasons, we believe we have a very exciting future, and we're really enthused about where this sector is and our positioning.
We got to a place actually where I think there was an imperative to do this, because people had grown to the point in their roles that you needed to create a bigger pitch. We needed to create and continue with the growth that we've seen so that people had somewhere to go, more things to do, bigger strategic goals, because otherwise I think we'd have started to lose some talent actually, because people have to go and develop their careers. And now I've got people going, oh wow, okay, there's all that we can go on and do and develop. So I think it became really important for us to take this step.
Do you think that investment, that opportunity has landed with all of the staff and the partners yet, or do you, because we've lived it for a lot longer, do you think they're on the same mindset as
in some ways for us it was a natural next step, wasn't it, Matt? But I think for staff, they weren't necessarily quite as connected or aware of it. The celebration day I think we had a couple of weeks ago gave us a chance to really lay down the vision that we have for the business for the future, and the feedback we've had since then has been very, very strong. And of course we're carrying people with us. We've always been a stakeholder culture, so we share the wealth that we create right across the business, and our commitment to do that going forward I think has been has been very well received.
Excellent.
Yeah, last year we beat plan in terms of our profitability, and used the excess over plan to pay bonuses. Mathematically, that's what we did, and I think people know that, and now they can see that there's, the opportunity for us to keep doing that. Yeah, I think most people you asked in the business, they would now know. If they didn't before the celebration day, they now do.
We've got very clear values. Part of our culture is, all of our culture really is based on some very well considered values, which actually, a lot of which came from our people. So the sort of behaviours that we have, the way that we share, the way that we are determined to create opportunity, I think is well understood and well recognised. And that culture, as I said, is critical to us. It's critical to the journey we've been on so far, but it's also a very, very important part of our future.
Yeah, so the way that we created our values, I think, tells you a lot. So when the founders got together and looked to create a blueprint for the business that they wanted to build and they wanted to create, they came up with a set of values, and those were embedded into the business. And then a few years ago, we decided to refresh them. So we asked the staff that belong to the staff forum called The Voice to express the values that they thought the company had, so that it wasn't a desktop exercise, a sort of top down. It was almost a test as to which of the founding values had landed, and they had landed. So sure, we've renamed them, and they're fresher now, and I think people can remember them more easily, and all of that. They're in the words of the people, but what they say is, you did it, well done, you did it.
We're better in people's gold, which is a huge statement of our intent, and I think the journey that we've been on. And a big part of the reason we got promoted from silver to gold was because of the connection of our people with our values.
It's very evident. I speak to people that join the business, and it's easy for us who've been here a while to talk about that culture, but when they come on board, a lot of people said, I heard all about this culture thing and the values thing, but I didn't really feel it, and now I'm on board, I can really notice it. So that's great, and it's always a difficult message to convince people that are joining of that message. So we've got lots of exciting things for those people that are here. What about those people that aren't here yet? What message have you got for them?
Well, I think for partners, as we call them, advisors, I think it's a really exciting time to join Foster Denovo. We are very well prepared to enable practices and partners who join us to grow. So we have a central support function that delivers exceptional support. We have a technology stack that is there and available to help drive efficiency. And we find that most partners who join us see growth of somewhere between 30 and 40% in their first 2 years. We've got many, many examples of that. And largely that's because they are giving us the stuff to do that a lot of them are doing themselves. We take responsibility for a great deal of the day-to-day operational requirement that seems to absorb and detract from looking after clients and from growing. So what you will find when you join FD is you grow quickly.
Yeah, fantastic.
You're also joining something. You're joining a community, and the community is it's buzzy, it's youthful. We're excited, we're growing. There's nothing like working in a growing business. I'm sure we've all been in situations where we've worked in businesses that are squeezed, and things are difficult. And the difference when you're working in a business that's on fire, it's so much more fun, and there's so much more opportunity to grow and develop your own skills, but also just to connect with other people that have got loads of energy. And I think if you bring ambition here, you're going to do well. You come with a plan to grow your business, but perhaps not with all of the knowledge to do it, or not with all of the support services to do it, or maybe just not the people around you to say, I did it like this, try doing, I know what you're doing, but try this because I did it and it worked.
And I don't think it'd be too bold a statement to say we've got some of the very best people in our industry in this business. And the great thing I think about those individuals is their willingness to share their ideas and their best practices with people that are willing to grow. We run lots of development forums around that. So I suppose just to sort of conclude, really, the sort of last question I've got is we call ourselves a partnership. We refer to partners. Obviously, people say, "Are you actually a partnership?" So clearly, we're not a limited, we're not a legal partnership. But what does partnership mean to you, and what does it mean to us as a business?
Well, I think partnership, by its definition, is about sharing. We do share. We share success, as Helen's mentioned, through share options and share schemes. And I'd be delighted when we do get to the end of our journey 5-10 years from now perhaps, and everybody's crossing the line together. That to me is what it's all about. We wear the same badge, we're in the same team, and that means that when there's difficult times, we share those difficulties together and we spread the load and the burden, but when we succeed, we succeed together. We share a lot of business, because we've developed deep silos of technical capability right across the business, we can always put our best foot forward when we're dealing with client circumstances. And because we share values, you can introduce a client to another partner across the business with confidence, knowing they'll be dealt with in the way that you would want them dealt with yourself. So all of that leads to our ability to serve our clients more effectively. And ultimately, that is our intent, is that we deliver exceptional client service. And our Net Promoter Score, which is one of the highest in the sector, is real evidence of us delivering consistently to that mandate.
A bit of your thunder there, Helen. Net Promoter Score is more your line, isn't it? So, and partnership for you, anything you wanted to add?
Yeah, I mean, there's a thing that happens at Foster Denovo when there's something that isn't as good as we want it to be, and that is that everyone goes towards it. And that tells you an awful lot about the business. So in other places, what happens when there's something that doesn't look quite right is that people, they run in the opposite direction. And here, actually, what happens is you get a crowd of people around it looking. And, at times, what we have to say is stay in your lane, because there's so many people that are going to a problem and saying, how can I help? And I think that demonstrates the partnership in action.
Perfect. Well, I think that's a lovely way to finish. Roger, Helen, thanks very much for joining us, and have a good day. Thank you.
Thanks, Matt.